Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Greenvale Radio. I'm your host, Whitney, with Dan from Deadly Premonition Archives, a YouTube channel.
Hey, everybody!
And in this podcast, our first podcast episode, we talked about how we got into the game, and we thought it would be good to kind of go over our thoughts on what we know so far on the upcoming sequel, Deadly Premonition, A Blessing in Disguise. Very mysterious title.
I know.
And it was such a surprise when it was announced. We learned about it only like 6 months ago in September during a Nintendo Direct. And I don't know about you, Dan, but I did not expect a sequel announcement at all.
It was a big day, because literally I was not, I often don't watch the Nintendo Directs, even when they're announced, because it's like, okay, I mean, I'm gonna find out. I tend not to watch trailers, because I review games, and I want to go in completely clean when I play a game. So, I mean, I assume there's just gonna be an announcement. If there's an announcement, I'm gonna hear about it, and I sure as heck heard about it, because as the Nintendo Direct was running, people started tweeting me to ask, are you watching the Nintendo Direct?
That was my case too. My phone was blowing up, and I even at work, one of my coworkers messaged me and said, hey, you might want to be watching the Nintendo Directs.
Isn't that this game that you're always talking about?
Yeah, like my coworker follows me on like Facebook and Twitter and stuff, so
okay.
They see my posts.
They're well familiar with your history with the subject matter.
I just liked how all these random people were just in my mentions going, Whitney, oh my god!
It's happening!
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very sly of swearing. I mean, I kind of knew I should be looking, I was watching the Direct, actually. What I was expecting was an announcement that the game was going to be on Switch, and I only thought to be tuned into Nintendo Direct because someone told Jim Sterling that he'd be very excited, and it had to do with a game he really liked, and someone mentioned Deadly Premonition, and the person was like, yep. I was like, oh, that means it's probably coming to Switch, because it's been teased like the year before by Rising Star Games.
Yeah.
That they were working on
a port.
A Switch port, yeah. So I went in going, all right, we're going to get Switch port. And then it opened up immediately with something that was not the original game.
Nope.
I was like, wait, what?
All new footage. I know.
Yeah, all new footage.
And yeah, it's exciting. And unfortunately, we still don't have a release date. I'm a little sad about that.
We just know it's 2010. 2020. That's all we know.
But we did have good news recently in that the entertainment software ratings boards are now getting ratings for this game out. So even though we don't have a release date yet, we know that something close to finished code is in the hands of the various rating agencies, which means...
Yeah, at least the Australian one.
Yes.
And also, during my charity stream, Jeff Kramer mentioned that he thought it was supposed to be announced during GDC last year. But for some reason, they decided to hold off on it.
Yeah.
And he was pretty confident the game was pretty much done.
Which, whew.
They've just been spending, like, all this time, I guess, maybe tweaking it or doing more QA, hopefully.
Yes. Well, given the franchise's history with bugs, it wouldn't kill them to put in as much QA time as possible.
Yeah. So when you first saw the trailer, what were your initial thoughts on it?
Okay, well, my first reaction was, absolute first reaction was, okay, York looks terrible. Sorry, Zach looks terrible. Zach,
what are you talking about?
York looks hot. Zach looks terrible. Sorry, my bad. Zach looks terrible.
Uh-huh.
And, because I immediately went and I watched the Japanese one as well. So, just, I mean, to see him hand-rolling cigarettes,
It's a cigarettes or marijuana?
It's hard to tell. But I know that he's got his... Because they've actually put in the dish he uses to prep the tobacco or marijuana. to hand roll them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, it could be marijuana because marijuana is the thing most likely to be hand rolled. But people who are, very serious smokers often roll their own cigarettes. And I thought that might be what he's doing as well. Because he's got that special dish in front of him where you prep and roll it in the dish. And it's such a nice detail to put that in. To see him not just smoking something out of a pack, but whatever he's smoking, he's rolling it himself right then and there.
Yes. I'm looking at a screen cap right now, and it just looks really thick, so I thought it was a blunt.
But it doesn't have the twisted ends you associate with that. It has a normal
one end is twisted.
That's true.
So I agree with you. Zach looks pretty awful.
Yeah.
So it appears. So what we know so far about this game is that it's both a prequel and a sequel, and Zach right now is in Boston 9 years after the Greenvale investigation. Whoops, sorry, Future Whitney here. I just misspoke. It's been 13 years since the Greenvale investigation ended. The Japanese Nintendo blog does state the original game took place in 2010, even though the in-game evidence points to 2006. I wonder if this means that Deadly Premonition 2 is going to retcon the timeline a bit. We shall see, I guess. And we remember when he was leaving Greenvale, he threw the cigarette away.
Yeah.
Like, smoking was York's thing, and seeing Zach now, this hardcore smoker.
I know.
It makes me very worried about him right now.
He seems to be in a bad way.
Yeah, he's in a messy apartment. It looks like it's the apartment from D4, too.
Yep. That was a nice touch.
So, it has me wondering maybe there's going to be a slight, call back to that game, because that game never got finished.
No.
So maybe D4 fans can get some sort of closure with that game
that
as
would
well.
Be nice. Well, and that's something you suggested in your video about the trailers. It's like, are we going to get time jumping? Like, is this just going to be him telling a story, or are we going to get Memento's time jumping weird stuff?
That might be an interesting thing with actual time jumping. From the press release, though, it does say that... Okay, hold on, let me bring this up. It says here that the story is divided into chapters, and each chapter begins in 2019. And
then he tells the story of where we're going.
So there's this other agent, FBI agent, who goes to interrogate a former gifted FBI investigator shrouded in mystery, which is Zach.
Of course.
So it says here, by interrogating him and acquiring key information, the story will shift to 2005. During the interrogation, you must break through the walls of the man's heart and get his testimony by showing evidence and making observations about things in his room.
Oh,
so
wow.
Apparently there's a case going on in 2019 that connects to something that York and Zach had previously closed in 2005. So each chapter is going to open with 2019. I assume you're making the observations, talking to Zach. And
it's interesting because it makes it sound like you're going to be playing as Aaliyah in the present day and Zach in the past. That is something I did not see coming.
Yeah, and it also appears, so in 2005, York is wrapped up in another serial murder case that's happening in Louisiana, which is why you're talking to present-day Zach. So it seems like maybe the same types of murders are happening again, 14 years later, like, what's going on? So we're going to be solving another serial murder, which makes me wonder if there's going to be another tie-in to Kaysen.
I feel like there has to be, right?
Yeah. That's my hope, is that because they couldn't go into Willie's major, backstory, from what they said in the Game Developer Magazine post-mortem, they ran out of time, that maybe in this way that they can talk about him a bit more. Maybe there's other agents besides Kaysen.
No, I mean, there easily could be. And I'm sure that's what we're going to find out as we go through this as we go through the mystery, and there's some interesting looking characters already. But what got me most excited is, how much I hate the new content for the
director's cut.
Yeah,
yes.
And I mean, that being erased from the continuity makes me really happy. But the fact that ended the way the way he has made it all tied together by having the fact that ending with him talking about a serial killer cropping up in New Orleans, right?
Was it a serial killer? I thought it was just people.
I thought it was people dying.
Yeah, not being able to walk properly.
Yes, but I have to assume a killing was involved. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Why would he be interested if there wasn't? But it's the idea that there was going to be a case in New Orleans, and now we're getting a case in New Orleans. And like you said, how shall I put this? That in this one game, between the Boston stuff and between the New Orleans stuff, he might be consolidating all of these ideas he had when he was done with Deadly Premonition and working on D3 and turning it into a single experience. So seeing all of that in one place made me excited, not just to have a sequel to Deadly Premonition, which of course I'm excited about that, but that it might pay off everything we've been waiting for in other things as well. You still haven't played D4, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I feel like we have to remedy that sooner or later. It's just I want a stream of you playing D4, all of it.
I'll probably stream it, yeah. I heard though that the PC port wasn't very good.
Oh no, it's hot trash. Don't get me wrong. It absolutely is completely terrible to play, but I mean, you've made it through how many terrible to play versions of Deadly Premonition? I think you can handle
That is
D4.
true. Maybe my computer's magic will allow me to play D4 pretty well as well, too.
Yeah, the way you're the only person who can get that PC port of
to work, I know. There was something else I wanted to mention about what we saw in the trailer that connects Zach not looking very well, is he's also wearing Emily's necklace on his wrist.
I know.
And that breaks my heart so much. It shows that he is still not over.
Yeah, all this time later, because, she's gone with York in the wherever, and Zach still thinks about her. Because, I mean, just...
Yeah.
Because the last moment of Deadly Premonition is him like, okay, well, I gotta go and have my own life now. The part where
it looks like it didn't work out.
I know!
Oh, it's so sad.
And I'm sure they're gonna get into that, but just to take the beautifully optimistic ending of Deadly Premonition and then smash cut to him. You've got this empty, unfinished room where it's literally just him, an easy chair, I assume a big screen TV, and piles and piles of DVDs everywhere. He hasn't even shelved or organized them in any meaningful way. Although, knowing Zach, there might be some long explanation about how his organizational system makes perfect sense to him.
I mean, he has a couple shelves, but
yeah, mostly just stuff on the floor.
He also has a chessboard out on a table in front of him.
Oh, I noticed that.
Maybe Zach is trying to learn to play chess.
I know.
It'd be cool if he plays online with Dr. Usha.
Oh, God, that would be wonderful. Yeah, but it's like, to go from such an optimistic point at the end of Deadly Premonition 1 to just how rough he looks and how much nastier his scar looks now.
I'm not sure if that has to do with just the difference in art style, but it's definitely more.
It might be just the art style, because it's like now it comes straight down his nose and is open much wider at the top. Like, it's a nastier scar. I think it's safe to say.
I mean, it did go down his nose a bit in the original game.
I'm just saying it's much more prominent now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, like it's quite an intense visual. This brutal scar he's got. And
yeah, it's like it's darker on his face.
It's darker on his face. It is, and it's just to immediately cut from that to young, hot York and the delusional version of York that he sees in the mirror again.
Yeah, York is looking fine. I was like, whoa.
You go, York.
Oh no, he's hot.
I know, and it's so funny because it's like going straight from one to the other, and on one level, that the messed up Zack you're looking at is what everybody else sees, but we're seeing York.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now we have that revealed, and that reveal doesn't get... Although, I gotta say, people playing this for the first time, right? I wonder if they're gonna understand that. Like, do you think there's gonna be people out there who just played Deadly Premonition 2 without having played the first one, and are they gonna understand it at all?
I'm gonna assume that the game is gonna do some sort of little recap. I mean, given that the original game would, like, recap each, like, major chapter happening.
That's true, at the start of each chapter.
They're gonna probably recap some of the stuff in Greenvale. I'm actually hoping that maybe we'll see some of the Greenvale characters in this new style as well.
That would be amazing if they do recap and flashbacks to the characters. Oh, that would be incredible if they actually rendered them in the new art style. Honestly, I mean, hopefully this sells well enough that they go back and they just full on remake Deadly Premonition. But I've been talking about that one forever.
So we haven't actually mentioned, though, in the in the prequel portion that's happening in 2005, New Orleans, York has, like, a little kid with him. Her name's Patricia. And apparently she's going to follow him around and kind of be like a Watson role to York, which
I noticed that
should be interesting.
Just him interacting with someone all of the time is going to be quite a twist. Especially if she shows up again later in the present day story.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's going to show up again. According to the press... according to the Japanese Nintendo blog, there's like a bunch more like information about her. So we have Aaliyah Davis, who's the FBI investigator, and Patricia is a 10-year-old girl and daughter of the police sheriff of the world of 2005.
Oh.
So she's a mature girl. She plays the role of Watson and follows York around the open world. So it appears maybe the sheriff likes York in the 2005 version and is letting his daughter follow him around. So maybe Patricia is really into wanting to be law enforcement.
So maybe she'll show up as part of that story in 2005. As long as she doesn't get killed, I'm fine. I don't want to see any kids getting killed.
I don't think she's going to be killed because the way that this blog talks about it is that this 2005 case will gradually drag Aaliyah Davis and Patricia together, and Zach. So I think she's still alive, unless she dies in 2019.
Yeah, but I mean, now we're getting into guessing about what's happening at the end of the game. No, we don't have to do that. No, and I'm just like, I don't want to see a little kid put in danger. Am I very immature for being worried about that? Maybe, but I just definitely don't want to see a little kid put in danger. I do not need that.
But it also looks like we're not going to be just limited to 2005, because that smaller teaser on Toy Box's Deadly Premonition 2 site, there's like this shot of a newspaper from 1943 that says, "Who killed Lisa Clarkson?" So I'm wondering if this is going to be like another situation with like this current serial killer actually being supernatural
back in time
and had done it earlier. Yeah.
And this is the consequence of a much earlier crime, the same way the follow-up to the original Raincoat Killer Massacre takes up the whole plot of Deadly Premonition. Yeah, I could totally see them doing something like that. And I did like that opening was the most direct callback we've gotten to the both the end of the Deadly Premonition director's cut and the very start of Deadly Premonition. Just how refreshing is it? I know it's just a teaser. I know we get no footage or any information, but just that.
I was hoping we would have had another like trailer at the Nintendo Direct that just happened. I was really counting on. I was like, oh, maybe we'll get more Deadly Premonition,
but nothing.
And that didn't happen.
I know, it's so
looks like we gotta wait more.
I mean, I can't remember what they did announce. It was just, oh, good. There's a new game from
Catherine. Catherine's going on Switch.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. Like, I know this is interesting stuff, but I really need my Deadly Premonition news.
Yeah, I'm guessing now that maybe we're probably going to be looking at like a fall release.
I'm disappointed that it seems like it's not going to be coming until much, much later. But
unless they're going to move it up because everyone's stuck inside right now.
Honestly, that could be true. But you're right. I think if it was going to be coming out in the next couple of months, it probably would have been on this Nintendo Direct. But you never know with Nintendo scheduling. I mean, heck, they sprung, like, we found out about Deadly Premonition on Switch how many weeks before it came out? You know, like...
we found out the day it came out.
Exactly.
They're like, hey,
by the way,
it's available now. Have fun.
Exactly.
So I have a feeling that when it does, the trailer does appear on Nintendo Direct, they're like, it's available digitally now.
I know.
With a physical release later.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like, it could be one of those that's like, coming tomorrow. Like, okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. So yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
Oh, no.
I'm like, okay, well.
Would we rather know in advance to get excited? Yeah. But we're fine with whenever it comes out. So, here's some...
making, like, trailer breakdown stuff is really fun.
It is, right? So my question to you is, what are you more excited about? Skateboarding or airboating?
Skateboarding, for sure.
Okay.
I was very excited to see that. I was like, oh,
it looks badass.
He gets a skateboard?
I know.
He got a little Tony Hawk in here.
Will he just be traveling, or will there be tricks? I can't wait to find out.
I think there's going to be tricks.
I hope.
There was also another like screenshot shown on Famitsu's page of York bowling too. So that looks like that's another
mini game they've added.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm expecting a lot of good side games here.
Oh, absolutely. Like I think that, you know, he's going to realize a lot of the dreams he had for the first one in this one. I'm really hoping. So I'm excited about that. I love that the fanboat sequence also has you, like, shooting targets. Like,
of course.
Why not, right? It's going to be a nice mix of content.
And doing tricks. Like, you have a score.
I know.
And you're going off of, like, ramps
doing
and shit,
ramps.
so.
I know. Like, it looks kind of amazing. I don't know how that's going to factor into the game at all, but... And I think that's the weird part. Is he going to factor this kind of stuff into the game, or is it going to just be side missions? Because the fact is, in the game, there's never a car chase in Deadly Premonition. You know, not really.
No.
No,
there's a car chase. There's a car chase. It's just extremely slow.
Yes, it's an extremely slow. Well, no, you follow a guy. It's not a car chase. You just follow a guy. But it's like you do all that speed driving training and like skidding through checkpoints and doing it. Like you learn you practice all that stuff, and then there's no actual car chase in the game. And I'm wondering, is the stuff like the airboat just going to be a fun extra activity, or is this going to factor in at all to the real gameplay? And obviously I have no way of knowing, but it would be interesting to see if they manage to mix it all together.
That would be pretty cool, but I'm going to probably say it's going to be like the racing it was.
Yeah, just the offside minigame stuff. I gotcha. Probably, but it's still, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be neat no matter what. This is not a complaint or a judgment if they don't end up doing that, but I'm very excited at the prospect, is what I'll say. I hope they manage to do, like, to integrate some of the action a little better, because we only get one tiny glimpse of combat in this. So we know there is combat, but we only get the slightest.
And it's weird too, because he doesn't have a gun. He's like using his hand. So is this another spiritual combat thing?
Yeah.
Because we see red vines and we see purple gas. Mm-hmm. So is this connected to the red seeds?
I feel like it has to be, right? Yeah, and as you've pointed out to me earlier, how is this going to conflict at all with him saying that he's never been attacked so directly?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm really curious about
how they reconcile that.
Because it looks like that guy with the gravestone chained to his back is very threatening.
That's a pretty direct attack, I would say, yeah. And God, I'm sad we only see one monster, because I love that monster design. I'm wondering if
the person we see with the sugar skull makeup briefly, if that's going to be like another like enemy, or is that just a weird person?
Is that a weird person? Well, because it's weird
Yeah.
because we only see him talking. We only see him in the background. It's a very interesting character design, but what does it mean is the question.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of, we should mention some of the other characters we see. We see a blonde woman.
Yep, with blue
very,
nail polish.
Very reminiscent of Diane from the
Yep.
Twin Peaks Return. There's also another doctor. It looks like he's also some sort of
minister.
Priest?
Minister
yeah,
or
minister
priest.
or whatnot.
Yeah, because they it's normally ministers who do the black collar thing.
Okay.
Rather than priests. Sorry, the black shirt, white collar thing.
Yeah. And the Japanese trailer also revealed a guy wearing an eye patch with a dragonfly on
eye
it.
patch. I love the look of that guy.
And there's another dude who...
Some sort of a meter on his chest?
Yeah, what is that?
I freeze framed
like
it. I zoomed in. Like, it seems to be a meter because it's got like a gauge in the middle of it, but he's got some kind of piece of machinery strapped to his chest. And I'm like, oh.
And his face is halfway covered
as well,
like, up to his nose. And he's wearing like a ball cap.
Yeah.
But that's all we've seen so far for characters.
Yes. So we don't have the kind of detail we would like to have yet with the characters. Obviously, there's going to be plenty of time for us to find out when we're actually playing the game. But there's some intriguing looking characters already.
Yes. I'm wondering about that woman, if she's like another investigator, or is she like supposed to be like a femme fatale type thing.
I think it's more likely she's going to be a creepy femme fatale character. Just the way they're shooting her, the focus on the nails, it seems like that's something they're going for. Mm-hmm. I would guess. Yeah, and more importantly though, how weird is the detail that, like, because he's not just a doctor who's also a minister. He's so into it that on the pad of his stethoscope, there's an etched in picture of Mary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's Mary on his stethoscope, and there's like a weird, like, quill. It looks like in his
sticking
pocket,
out of his pocket. Yeah,
or is that on the stethoscope?
It's hard to tell whether it's just sticking out of his pocket or it's on the stethoscope, but he definitely has a single feather or quill. Does he like to write out prescriptions with a quill pen? Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised. And by the way, we do know his name. His name is Tyrone Sanders.
Sanders, yeah. Tyrone Sanders.
Yeah.
No,
because he has a little name tag.
That's right. I noticed that one too. But yeah, we know there's going to be combat. We know there's going to be, again, clearly lots of dialogue scenes, lots of investigation. So it's like we know that
it's open world apparently,
and this is the thing that, in a sense, has me most excited. Well, I think the first one qualifies as open world as well. Like,
oh no, that one does too. That's why I was excited to see that this one is going to be open world as well.
I don't know if you noticed this and was excited about it as I was, but I feel like we have a chance that they have gotten a good map finally. Because right at the top, when in the scene when he's skateboarding, I don't remember which trailer it was. I think the Japanese trailer.
The Japanese one.
Yeah, okay. In the Japanese trailer, he's skateboarding, and you can clearly see that at the top of the screen, there is a 100% easy to read, like, compass with directional markers on it to get to objectives. And I'm like, oh my god, they've actually got a decent map this time.
I see that they've learned they need a better map, which was very, very good.
I know, it was kind of
excited to see that.
It really was a shocker when they went to the trouble of releasing Deadly Premonition on just that they have re-released it twice. Done two like legit re-releases where they changed things or altered things, and neither time did they fix the map.
I really want to know why they couldn't. Like, how was it coded where they could not zoom in out?
Yeah, like zoom in and out. Come on, guys. It can't be that hard. Like,
that was like the biggest complaint everyone had about the original release was the map.
And they still didn't fix it. That would be like the
first thing you'd want to fix in the director's cut. But they still didn't.
Seems like they have learned their lesson for this one, though. So there you go.
I do like the way it seemed, the seemingly waypoint system.
Yeah.
unless it's just for
God,
skateboarding.
wouldn't that be terrible if the waypoints were literally... Well, you have a good map and waypoints, but only when you're doing a side mission. What? Ah, no!
You gotta ride the rails and shit.
Oh, God,
and
that would be terrible.
I forgot to say, this... Where the investigation is happening is in another small town, apparently.
Yes.
Just in that area. I do not know how to pronounce the town name. Do you?
No, I don't.
Lecrae.
Yeah.
You guys can just look it up. I don't want to butcher this.
I'm okay with French, but I don't understand. But the thing is, it's not just French. It's Creole. So.
It's Le Carré?
Le Carré?
I don't know.
Now,
whatever.
We'll find out soon enough. But yeah, we're set up for a mystery. As you said, it does look like he was influenced by True Detective this time.
Uh-huh.
With the structure.
Yeah, I'm getting some Rust Cole vibes from Zach.
Yeah, from New
for
Zach,
sure.
Absolutely. I hope
he even has the stringy hair and shit.
I know.
Is he gonna start crushing cans and making little figures as well?
I think what I really like about this, the fact that if he was inspired by it this time, it actually has a chance to, in the same way that I tell everybody that Deadly Premonition is an improvement on Twin Peaks, because it's what if Twin Peaks had a completely understandable plot with a pre-planned beginning, middle, and end. Obviously, wouldn't that be better? And I know some people just like the mood of Twin Peaks and living in that town, but I'm like, no, I want the mystery to be well thought out and fully planned beginning, middle, and end. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to ask for. And in the same way, I'm spoiler alert, I really had a problem with the half-assedness of the end of the mystery and the lack of, there being any meaning to all of the stuff Rust Cole talks about in that show. Because we get deep into his philosophy, and we get deep into
But that's just him.
I know that's just him, but it's is this all going to pay off? And the answer is, no, it's not going to pay off. It's just fun stuff he said. Well,
it just kind of shows about where he was at.
That's true.
We did get a good ending to the mystery. We saw how it all tied together with the corruption. I don't know if we
and the corruption and the covering for the. Oh no, the show came out 6 years ago. I think it's. Did
you notice the little tells when they were in the past, when they were interviewing the dude?
Yeah.
When he was mowing the lawns, you saw yellow and you saw king and shit like that.
Yeah. No, I didn't notice it the first time.
Yeah.
I absolutely,
I
everyone else, didn't
notice
really
cool.
the first time. I did watch someone's video about all of the clues they put in, though, and I'm like, damn, they really thought this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that. But what I'm saying is, when you get to the end of it, you're like, so all of his stuff about the structure of time and the meaning of life in the universe, that doesn't really pay off. And I just find it fun because in Deadly Premonition, all of that kind of weird alternate universe stuff can pay off, because that's the kind of world that Deadly Premonition is set in. It is set in...
Yeah, I'm wondering if they will.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
get into more of the nitty-gritty of the different worlds.
The different factors of reality, dimensions, the different places that we have access to. There's very interesting places this thing could go if they want to go there. And I have been massively excited by Jeff Kramer's hinting to us that it was going to get crazy.
For those who might not have known, Jeff Kramer was a guest during my charity stream in December. We did cut out the whole little interview part and did put it up on Deadly Premonition archives. He did mention that he thought that this story was even better than the original. Swery and co. Pulled out all the stops. He said he could not guess where it was going, and he was pleasantly surprised, with the end. It was a good sequel, and he's very excited to see everyone's reactions. I mean, even just looking at the comments by Swery and Tomio Kanazawa, the producer, he said that, the producer said, Swery and I discussed in depth about the ways we could continue the world of Deadly Premonition. In reaching here, we shared some laughter together and at times quarreled, but we persisted with our voyage, and I'm thrilled that we finally made it to this point. So this is not like a spur of the moment thing. They've been like talking about this for years.
Wow.
Like, this is a culmination of like, hey, we want to do this. How are we going to do it? It's like they've been hashing it out for a while now.
I am so excited about that. I'm so happy about that. Like, just to know that they are every bit as excited about this as we are. I mean, it's just, I know it's crazy. I know it may seem simplistic, but it's true that there are situations where people who are, who made the product aren't as giant fans of it as the people who consume the product. I don't think I'm talking out of school to say that happens all the time.
No. Fans get really
into
rabid and
yeah, they get into it.
And very, very protective too of whatever they're fans of.
I hope you're not talking about me
like,
there.
I know it better than the devs themselves. And,
okay, well.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot in the Silent Hill fandom.
Oh yeah, although in the Silent Hill fandom, I think they have a right to feel that way sometimes. The series has taken some odd turns.
Yeah. But they don't need to be toxic.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. No. I would never defend any kind of harassment of developers or honestly being too upset. And the thing is, I have my own toxic fandom moments in the way I've railed against that the epilogue scenes from Deadly Premonition, the director's cut. Like, I too have felt that urge of I know better than so and so and so and so, and I mean, and
well,
the fact that it then got cut proves that they agreed with me on that one in the end.
Yeah, and also you didn't lash out.
But that's the thing. I never
exactly.
I never attacked Swear. I'm like, it's baffling why they did this, but it's like I would never attack them. I would never harass them. I would never say you have to change it to be the way that it is, because in the end, it is their product that they made. And that is why, even when I think I know better, I'm still, never harass people. We're allowed to have our opinions, but dear God, don't make your opinion someone else's problem. I think is the key thing. And with this, there's so much fan stuff. There's so many fans who are so rabid for this, that I just hope it can live up to everything that is in our expectations. And I know asking one thing to satisfy all of our expectations might sound insane, but honestly, given that he's had 10 years to think about and work on this, there's a chance. There's a chance it might be the exact payoff we've been waiting for,
Yeah, that is my hope. It sounds like they took the sequel seriously and came up with a way to bring York back.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, making it a prequel and a sequel, you get the best of both worlds now. You get Zach, and you get to see how Zach's doing, and you get more York in the process.
Spend more time with York, the character we love the most. Because how could you not love York the most?
I am looking at the classification from Australia. I am kind of wondering how much just some of the stuff that they rated in the original versus this new one. They rated the Deadly Premonition Origins. They said that there's no drug use. And that mild impact of language, nudity, and sex. I'm wondering where the language comes in, because I didn't see any bad words in the original game.
There's not a ton of swearing in Deadly Premonition. People don't really swear at all in that thing. Language is fine.
There was
so much
strong impact was... Yeah, but they said there's none.
I know, that's the crazy
It's maybe
part.
They didn't realize that the seeds were drugs. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess not.
But strong impact was themes and violence. And then when you compare that to the sequel, you have no nudity or sex.
Yeah.
But then mild impact of language and drug use. So I'm wondering if the drug use has to do with Zach smoking. But York smoked all the time. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but as you
How is
said,
there no drug use?
If he's turned to marijuana, then maybe there will be the drug use. You could be right about that.
Maybe
one.
they don't consider drinking and smoking drug use.
No, I don't think they do. Because in North America, in the ESRB, they actually have separate categories for alcohol and tobacco use from drug use. So it could, I'd say it could be the same way in Australia, but then again, they didn't even have a listing for all of the smoking he obviously does in the game.
No, but it still has strong impact with the themes and violence. So it's going to be a mature game, obviously.
Oh, completely.
But it's just kind of funny to see those side by side.
Yeah. And
no drug use, but...
Try and guess at what they're going to leave out or add in, just based on the ratings information.
Maybe the bad guys won't go off about how sexy deers are.
Jesus. Oh my God. Yeah, so before we wrap up, is there something you're like the most excited about, just in the trailer?
Most excited about? Well, with York coming back, at least in the past, I'm hoping we'll get more York-Zach conversations about the media, like movies and music and stuff. I am very excited about maybe seeing punk rock York, which Jeff Kramer kind of hinted at during our interview.
Yeah, at least
maybe
reference to that. That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm. So maybe it's a costume, or maybe we'll get a flashback to his younger days, which would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much they can do there. That would be amazing. My big ask is that I want the modern day, okay, and I know it's a big ask, but it's like, what I want most of all is for, in his intervening 15 years, or 14 years, no, I guess it's 13 years, because it's 2019 and 2006 when the first one was set. In those intervening years, I just want Zach to have figured something out. I want insight into how this world works. And I know that it can be a risk and it can be disappointing when you actually find out the mechanics of a fantasy world, but we've been waiting a while, guys. And I just want some touch. I want some piece of it to let me know that there are rules to how this works and it can be understood. That is what I want most out of this sequel. So
you're hoping that we have more definitive reasons behind being able to go to the White Room.
Why he can go to the right and Red
Force
Room.
World. Yeah.
How these things, a little bit more about how these things work. That's what I want. That's what I wanted.
I want to see if our theories are correct.
That is what I want. I guess what I'm really asking is to find out if our theory videos are correct or incorrect.
Yeah, right now, guys, we're working on an Otherworld video.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how wrong we are in the sequel.
That'll be the fun part, finding out whether we were right or wrong. Just like, no, there's a definitive answer now. But that's what theory videos are for. They're to lock your opinion down so you can be open to humiliation later.
My other big hope is we get to see glimpses of Greenvale.
Oh,
maybe even if it's just like during the credits, we get like little snippets of the original game, like York arriving to town,
right?
Having lunch, or just little things on the side while the credits are going, just seeing what happens after the 2005 case, and go, hey, why don't you play this the first game?
So you can find out all the details of this. Yeah, because I think you're right that they would be crazy not to have some kind of explanation of the past. It would be ridiculous not to, because it is a convoluted world people are entering into. I just hope it's more elegantly done than... I don't know if you remember when Metal Gear Solid first came out. This is years and years and years
never
ago.
played it.
That's fine. But anyway, Metal Gear Solid came out on the PlayStation, the first PlayStation game. First PlayStation, so now we think of as PlayStation 1. Right? Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing about it was, like, it's a direct sequel to Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, which was an MSX computer game from, like, 1993. So there had been, like, 5 years, there had been no Metal Gear games, And it was a game that most people in North America never had a chance to play. I mean, nobody outside of Japan really had a chance to play.
Wasn't it on NES?
No, that was a completely unrelated game called Metal Gear 2.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Metal Gear 2 Snake's Revenge is a unrelated game made by different developers, and it's not canonical in the plot. Exactly. So the game that Metal Gear Solid was a sequel to, direct sequel to, never even came out in North America. And so what he did was, in addition to like the long opening briefing explaining the plot of that game, there was like a 60-page document where you could just read the full plot of Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake.
Wait, 60 pages in game?
Yeah, where you just like flip from page to page. No, it wasn't in the manual. You actually in game, you went to the special features menu, and it's like story background, and then you would actually have to sit there scrolling through to get.
Oh, that sounds bad.
That's what I'm saying. It is woefully inelegant, and I'm hoping that whatever method they come up with to like fill people in on the story, that is the bottom of the barrel. That is the line you have to step over to do a better job then.
Okay, I'm hoping that they do previously on Deadly Premonition. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and doing previously on as if it's a TV show would be 100% on brand for these guys. So
yeah, I have a feeling that's what's going to happen.
Totally, that would not surprise me.
I don't see Swery just writing out the plot in a note in a special menu.
That would be a very weird choice for him. So hopefully
it's very inelegant. He's more about
style,
showing
God,
than making people read.
Oh, absolutely. So hopefully that is how they handle it. I am keeping my fingers crossed anyway.
I'm wondering if weather is going to play a factor in this
can't
game.
imagine that it wouldn't. I mean, this week he literally just put out the update for the what do you call it? For the Good Life. Like this week's Good Life update is literally, by the way, we just put in the weather system, and yes, in addition to there being a night and a day cycle, now there's going to be various clear, rainy, cloudy, and there are going to be certain events that only happen in certain weather conditions. So he's like, yep, all the stuff you expect from me and a sweary game about weather working, yeah, that's all back in this game too. So if he went so far, he obviously loved that system from Deadly Premonition. If he went so far as to make sure that system also happened in The Good Life, it would be crazy to not see it in Deadly Premonition 2. Right?
True. I'm also wondering if they kind of learned from how players didn't really understand that system, if they're going to explain it a little bit better.
That would be amazing.
Implement it.
Yeah, to actually
explain
let you know
that,
how
hey,
it works.
You can smoke to move forward time, and characters will only say certain things in certain weather conditions or something. Because it seemed like a lot of people never
found out those elements.
Realized.
I really do feel sorry for the people who did not know you could fast forward time, and so would just like go to a bed and sleep for the amount of hours to get them closest
or they would just wait. They would wait for the in-game clock
to go
to the time they needed.
I know. I feel so sorry for those people.
On people who put up YouTube reviews of the game, and they mentioned like having to wait around. I'm always like, you don't have to.
Nope.
There's a mechanic to take care of it for you.
Yep. Just like you can just sit down there. You can wait. It's a good system. All right, so I guess that'll be that for our talking about the video. I think you can expect to hear us back here if they release another one of these.
Oh yeah, do another like trailer breakdown.
Yeah, unless of course, as we said, the trailer is, by the way, the game is out. If that's what happens, no, we're just going to be covering the game.
We're going to play the game. Yeah.
But no, it's very exciting. I cannot wait, but expect to hear more about, like, as we get more information, you'll be hearing more from us about it. Believe you me.
Yeah, maybe we'll put together a video about the sequel stuff.
Yeah, it might be a good idea to put together a crafted video of, like, here's everything we know right now, and just, like, focusing on the interesting details.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we can totally
Sounds good to me.
Consider. All right, so for now, I just want to thank you for coming on coming to us for this podcast. Obviously, you love Deadly Premonition as much as we do. And we'd love to
Yep.
hear your thoughts about it. What part of the trailer impressed you most? What are you most excited to see in the new Deadly Premonition game? You can drop us a line at our Twitter account, which is, I want to say, Deadly Premonition Archives.
Yes. It's here. Let me give you.
I probably shouldn't have.
DP.
That probably shouldn't have been a question. Actually,
Well, it's. I'll give you guys the actual handle. Ready? It is at DP and then Archives. We're also on YouTube under Deadly Premonition Archives, all spelled out, one word.
and be sure. And if you want to leave a comment here below the video, we check and respond to all of the comments we get. So yeah, let us know your feelings about this stuff as well. We would love to hear.
So yeah, hit us up on Twitter, hit us on YouTube. Even just if you just want to talk to us directly, you can always go to our personal Twitters. I'm at Kemi_Row and Danny.
GC_Danny. That's right. A GC Danny is somebody else. You got to put in the underscore between the two. Somebody beat me to that one. So yeah, check that out. We will see you back here for more. But until then, I'm going to say au revoir.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe. Wash your hands.